What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about a huge dating mistake that both men and women are making. Look, before I start this video, I'm not a mental health doctor or professional, and neither is YouTube. Content creators on the internet can be helpful, but they shouldn't be used in place of a real doctor or therapist, more like in addition to. That's why I like to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. If you haven't been able to find a good mental health professional, I think you should give BetterHelp a try. It's the largest online network of mental health therapists in the world. You can talk to an accredited, credentialed professional through phone, video calls, and even text messages. Getting mental health treatment has never been so simple, convenient, or affordable. And financial aid is even available for those who qualify. So if you're looking for help, please go to betterhelp.com/Kev to find a mental health therapist that's right for you. Now onto this topic. So back to this dating mistake that women and men are both making. That mistake is avoiding accountability. Listen, people, it's easy to forget this and all of the emotion and frustration that we feel. But I'm going to remind you, if someone else is solely to blame for your experience, then that means someone else was in control of your experience. That's way too much power for one person to have. You can't change or control anybody but yourself. You share accountability in your experience, even if you're the victim. I often get hate mail and angry comments from women upset that I didn't blame the man enough in my videos, accusing me of victim blaming. And as you all know, every day I get hate mail from men accusing me of pandering to women or blaming men when I need to be blaming women. Upset at me for calling out male behaviors and manipulation tactics. But no matter who I piss off, the reason never changes. They believe I've held the wrong sex accountable. Men and women have both been victimized and treated unfairly by men and women. We like to compartmentalize our compassion for those who haven't hurt us, but it's easy to forget that everybody is having a shared experience and everybody's going through something. But I do want to make something clear. Being the victim doesn't mean to be without blame or without accountability in your own experience. You can be a victim and still be at fault or still be accountable for some portion of your experience. The term victim blaming is often used very foolishly as a refusal to learn from the mistakes that cost us the most harm, to prevent accountability or to prevent the demand for accountability. Notice I didn't say sole accountability. There's wisdom in accountability. There's self-improvement in accountability. There's evolution in accountability. There's a better life for you in accountability. Because if you don't learn from your mistakes, you are bound to repeat them. And notice I didn't say the mistakes of others. Looking for confirmation and validation in your victimhood, looking for blame, disempowers you. Blame is helpless, blame is hopeless, blame is desperate and afraid. It requires no growth, no change, and no evolution. Blame gets you the same results year after year after year. Relationship after relationship after relationship. You can only feel desperate, lonely, and afraid for so long before it starts to feel like your identity and define how you act. If you want a different result in any part of your life at all, you have to stop focusing on who to blame and you have to start focusing on how to change. Cursing me out in the comment section for not understanding your pain isn't going to change your life, but taking accountability will. Taking responsibility will. Getting better at decision making will. Tending to your mental health will. Removing toxic relationships will. Not adding toxicity to your relationships will. Exercising more self-control will. And making the necessary changes and evolutions will. My content isn't about pandering to women. It's about moving them to do everything in their power to make their life and experience better. It's about building a culture of smarter women who make smarter decisions and take on less trauma and give less trauma to men as a result. Good men. It's not just about blaming men or pandering to the hurt feelings of whoever might be watching. For every problem, there is a solution that depends on you. Look at the biggest failures you know. The people who fail at everything, the people who are the biggest disappointments to themselves and others. Do they have a system of accountability or do they have a system of blame? Think about it. Most of the biggest failures I know eventually learn to take accountability, and only then do they stop failing. Only then do they start to grow and evolve and change and receive better from life. Most of the failures I know started with a system of blame. And until they took accountability, they continued to fail at relationships, at business, in their family dynamics, with drugs, alcohol, habits, patterns, practices, everything. People who blame don't evolve. And if you want to become stronger, you have to learn how to take responsibility for what you've contributed to your experience in dating, relationships, and everything else. This is one of the single biggest dating mistakes that men and women both make because it keeps you from growing and ultimately finding the relationship and the family that you want. The question shouldn't be who's at fault, but how am I at fault? How have I contributed as well? Introspection is one of the most important things that you can offer yourself in relationships. To be able to see yourself honestly, to look at yourself and evaluate your efforts and your contributions, to take proper inventory of everything that you've done and add it to these situations that you find yourself in, man or woman. This isn't to disregard what someone's done to you or what's happened to you or your experience. It's not to look over and minimize your trauma, but to restore to you the power and dominion to change your life. And you can't take power, you can't take dominion, you can't take control if everything depends on what someone else does. It has to be about you and what you contribute. That's the only way to get control of your lives in these dating situations that you find yourself in. You have to do what's best for you. And if that means you need to grow, you need to evolve, you need to change, you need to adjust, you need to make different decisions, develop different habits, patterns, and practices, then do what it takes to get the result you want. But everything can't be about being a victim and being validated in that and sitting in that. You can be right or you can be happy. I would much rather be happy. But that takes accountability. A lot of people are right and they sit in misery. But they're right though. I don't want to pat you in the back while you sit in a dark place. I'm here to pull you into the light. But you have to be willing. And sometimes that's a painful experience, but it's a necessary one. Please start taking accountability. This message is for who it's for. Please check out BetterHelp at the link below if you're looking for mental health therapy. Follow me at KFIC24 on Instagram. I'll get with y'all later.